It out?
No, not really. Wait, wait, I know.
Wait, I know. Wait, I'm Gracie. I'm not cold at all. Figure it out. Let me know when you figured it out, okay?
Okay.
Need help?
No, well, yes, come here.
Alright, I'll help you out.
I need you to hold this down.
Hold what down?
Hold this.
Hold
No,
what?
just hold the book.
Just pick a chapter. I don't care. Read something. Here, just open up. Right there, right there. Start right there. Just read Joshua 7:8. Here, go. No, let's do it. I destroyed. Read chapter 8, okay?
Okay. Now.
And just read just read to the next chapter, the next page, okay? You know that's the reason why you can
Then
actually...
the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Take the whole arm with you and go up and attack. For I have delivered into your hands the king of Ai, his people. What? His people, his city, his land. You shall do to Ai and its king as you did to Jericho and its king, except that you may carry off their plunder and livestock for yourself. Set an ambush behind the city." So Joshua and the whole army moved out to attack Ai. He chose 13,000 of his best fighting men and sent them out at night with these orders. Listen carefully. You are to send an ambush behind the city. Don't go very far from it. All of you be on the alert. I and all those with me will advance on the city, and when the men come out against us as they did before. Wait,
Okay, you're good. You can stop now.
Okay.
Okay, shut the book, and then put your gloves back on. Shut the book and put it back in the thing. Okay? And then I'll let you get your gloves back on. And sure you kept your gloves on in the first place. It's cold out here.
Sorry, I can't really turn.
Hey, Saeed. Hey, Jimmy. Down at the river. Whew. It is cold.
I learned that they were starting to attack.
Right. Let's go put it in there. Don't break it, okay? Okay. Here you go. Wait. Put the gloves on. You can play the camera down. Then you can.
Yeah, I want to play with the camera.
I've got to read the next. Okay. Now there's people out on the river. There's people out on the river, Grace? Yeah. Here, let's move it so people can see it. There.
It's ice and it's water.
Yep.
Let's fight.
What?
Let's fight.
Fight.
It's getting to be water.
What are you talking about? Woo! Oh, I don't like that sound. I don't like cracking sounds. It is frozen. Alright. While you guys are watching people out on the river, I've got to go over here and read the next part of my books. Alright, I'm going to do that there.
Gracie.
All right.
Hi. Hi. Yeah.
Play. I gotta read the. While you're playing for a second, I actually have two things. I got two chapters I gotta read.
Yeah.
Who's gonna listen? They can.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so much.
All right. You do that, Gracie. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're being silly, aren't you? What? What are you doing over there? What? What are you doing? You're silly. I gotta do my next chapter. While you're playing, I'm doing my next chapter, okay? And you can play. I'm gonna leave those going on the river, but I promise people I get this done.
Oh.
You are silly.
That was cool.
Let's see if this works.
That wasn't. Like, destroy my rock.
What's destroying your rock then? Chapter 4, book 316, The Numbers of Hope, by Max Lucado. When you get booted out. Let's see here. I don't know. Ah! It stopped on me. And remember, it's cold down here. Alright, we'll do this chapter. Then we're going to go over with the ice hockey. Look at the ice hockey. We'll play on the harder part of the river a little bit. Okay, Grace? Alright.
Man, drop a rock.
What? Let's see. What are you doing, kiddo? Polluting the Mississippi River.
Ah, the highest I've gone.
Huh?
That was like the highest like there I've done so far here.
Alright. Hey everybody. We're doing 316. I am switching the camera view. Yeah. I guess it's gonna do it on its own there. Hold on, let me get a camera. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. If it'll allow me to. There we go. No, that's not it. Okay. Okay, this thing doesn't. And my hands are just frozen solid. I don't know. Try this again. Yes, and. Yeah. Finished. Done. Okay, I think I'm frozen solid now. They're over there, out there. Let's see if I can zoom in on those people over there.
Well, how come you're still filming?
I'm cold.
Yeah.
Once I get done with this chapter, I'm getting in the Jeep and we're gonna get warm. You can get in the Jeep anytime you want. But you're over there playing, which is fine. Okay, that's not one of ours. Alright. Chapter 4, Max Lucado, The Numbers of Hope, 316. Chapter 4, The Numbers of Hope, by Max Lucado, 316. Chapter 4. chapter 4. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Go. The heck? I think everything's freezing up on me here, Grace. I think it's too cold. Try again.
Oh, that was the farthest I went.
Alright.
That was the farthest I went.
It is. Alright, everybody, I'm going to switch the camera so we can do it the other side. Alright, here we go. Okay. We are doing chapter 4 when you get it booted out. We are on chapter 4, Max Lucado, 316, the Numbers of Hope. And while my daughter's playing, like I said, I told you every day I'm going to read a chapter. Pluto got bumped. Oops, hold on, I'm going to get hit in the head with a rock here in a minute. It's freezing out here, you know. Pluto got bumped, cut from the first team, demoted from the top 9, according to a committee of scientists meeting in Prague. This outpost planet fails to meet solar system standards. They downgraded the globe to asteroid number 134340. Believe me, Pluto was not happy. I caught up with the Sky Traveler at a popular constellation hangout, the Night Sky Lounge. Max, tell me, Pluto, how do you feel about the decision of the committee? Pluto, you mean those planet pickers from Prague? Max, yes. Pluto, I say no planet is perfect. Mars looks like a tanning bed attic. Saturn has rings around the collar, and Jupiter moons everyone who passes. Max, so you don't approve of the decision? Oh, sorry, my hands are not exactly warm. Pluto, snarling and whipping out a newspaper. Who comes up with these rules? Too small, wrong size, moon, not enough impact. Do they know how hard it is to hang on at the edge of the solar system? They think I'm spacey. Let them duck meteors coming at them at thousands of miles per hour for a few millennia, and then see who they call a planet. I'm out of here. I can take the hint. I know when I'm not wanted. Walt Disney named a dog after me. Teachers always put me last on the science quiz. Darth Vader gives me more respect. I'm joining up with the meteor shower. Tell that committee to keep an eye on the night sky. I know where they live. Can't fault Pluto for being ticked. One day he's in, the next day he's out. One day on the squad, the next off. We can understand his frustration. Some of us understand it all too well. We know what it's like to be voted out. Wrong size, wrong crowd, wrong address. Plutoed. To the demoted and demeaned, Jesus directs his lead-off verb. For God so loved the world. Love. We've all but worn out the word. This morning I used love to describe my feelings towards my wife and towards peanut butter. Far from an identical emotion. I've never proposed to a jar of peanut butter, though I have let one sit on my lap during a television show. Overuse has diffused the word, leaving it with the punch of a butterfly wing. Biblical options still retain their starch. Scripture employs an artillery of terms for love, each one calibrated to reach a different target. The video camera is in the box, Gracie, if you want to use it. Here. Consider the one Moses used with his followers. Do you want to put those books in there too? Put those books in there so they don't fall on the ice. Sorry. Okay. Consider one Moses used with his followers. The Lord chose your ancestors as the objects of his love. Duet 10:15. This passage warns our hearts, but it shook the Hebrews' world. They heard this. The Lord binds himself to his people. Ask speaks of tethered love, a love attached to something or someone. I'm picturing a mom connected by a child, harnessed this to her rambunctious 5-year-old as the two of them walked through the market. I once thought the leashes were cruel. Then I became a dad. The strap serves two functions, yanking and claiming. You yank your kid out of trouble, and in doing so proclaim, yes, he is as wild as a banshee, but he's mine. In this case, God chained himself to Israel because the people were loved. No, God wasn't attracted to you and didn't choose you because you were big and important. The fact is, there was almost nothing to you. He did it out of sheer love, keeping the promise he made to your ancestors. God loves Israel and the rest of us Plutos because he chose us to. This is the love that won't let go of the object of love. George Matheson learned to depend on this love. He was only a teenager when doctors told him he was going blind. Not to be denied, he pursued his studies, graduating from the University of Glasgow in 1861 at the age of 19. By the time he finished graduate seminary studies, he was sightless. His fiancée returned his engagement ring with a note. I cannot see my way clear to go through life beyond but the chains of marriage to a blind man. Matheson never married. He adapted to a sightless world, but never recovered from his broken heart. He became a powerful and poetic pastor, led a full and inspiring life. Yet occasionally the pain of the unrequited affection flared up as it did decades later at his sister's wedding. The ceremony brought back memories of the love he had lost. In response, he turned to the unending love of God for comfort and penned these words on June 6, 1882. O love that wilt not let me go, I rest my weary soul in thee. I give thee back the life I owe, that in 3 oceans' depth its flows may richer, fuller be. God will not let you go. He has handcuffed himself to you in love, and he owns the only key. You need not win his love. You already have it. And since you can't win it, you can't lose it. As evidence, consider Exhibit A, the stubborn love of Hosea for Gomer. Contrary to the name, Gomer was a female and is an irreplaceable woman married to a remarkable Hosea. She had the fidelity code of a prairie jackrabbit, flirting and hopping from one lover to another. She ruined her life and shattered Hosea's heart. Destitute, she was placed for sale in a slave market. Guess who stepped forward to buy her? Hosea. He never removed his wedding band. The way he treated her, you would have thought she'd never loved another man. God uses this story, indeed, orchestrated this drama to illustrate his steadfast love for this fickle people. Then God ordered Hosea, start all over. Love your wife again. Your wife who's in bed with her latest boyfriend, your cheating wife. Love her the way I, God, love the Israelite people. Even as they flirt and party with every god that takes their fancy. This is the love described in John 3:16. Ask it replaced with the Greek term agape, but the meaning is equally powerful. God so the world. Agape love. Less an affection, more of a decision. Less a feeling, more an action. As one linguist described, agape is an exercise of divine will and deliberate choice made without assignable clause, save that which lies in the nature of God himself. Stated more simply, junkyard wrecks and showroom models share equal space in God's garage. I saw a shard of such love between an elderly man and woman who had been married for 50 years. The last decade has been marred by her dementia. The husband did the best he could to care for his wife at home, but she grew sicker. He older, so he admitted her to a full-time care. One day he asked me to visit her, so I did. Her room was spotless, thanks to his diligence. She, horizontal on the bed, was bathed and dressed, though going nowhere. I arrived at 6:15 a.m. He beamed. You'd think I was on a payroll. I feed her, bathe her, and stay with her. I will until one of us dies. Agape love. I know a father who, out of love for his son, spends each night in a recliner, never sleeping more than a couple of consecutive hours. A car accident paralyzed a teenager. To maintain the boy's circulation, therapists massage his limbs every few hours. At night, the father takes the place of the therapist. Though he's worked all day and will work again the next, he sets the alarm to wake himself every other hour until sunrise. Then there is the story of Dan Mose tells about his father, Pop, a first-generation Italian-American who was struggling with metastatic liver and lung cancer. When doctors gave him less than a year, Pop bravely said he wasn't afraid to die. After all, his wife was already gone and his children grown. But then he learned that his only son, Dan, was going to be a father. When Pop heard the news, he sat up and resolved, I'm going to make that. Gracie, if you fall into the river, I swear up and down.
Read your book.
Okay. Love you. The chemo tortured his system. Some days it was all he could do to mumble, bad day, to those who phoned. But when his granddaughter was born, he insisted on going to the hospital. The 90-minute ride tormented him. Dan wheeled him to the maternity ward. Pop's arms were too weak, so Dan had to hold the baby for him. But Pop did what he came to do. He leaned over and kissed her and said, Sheila Mary, Grandpa loves you very much. Within seconds, Pop dozed off. Within an hour, he was back in the car. Within days, he was dead. What is this love that endures decades, passes on sleep, and resists death to give one kiss? Call it agape love, of love that bears a semblance of God's. But only a semblance. Mind you, never a replica. Our finest love is a preschool watercolor to God's Rembrandt. A vacant lot, dandelion next to his garden rose. His love stands sequoia strong. Our best attempts bend like weeping willows. We may bathe an aging bride, massage a boy, or issue a final blessing. But compare our love with God's. Look at the round belly of the pregnant peasant girl in Bethlehem. God's in there. The same God who can balance the universe on the tip of his finger floats in Mary's womb. Why? Love. Peek through the Nazareth workshop window. See the lanky lad sweeping the sawdust from the floor. He wants blue stardust into the night sky. Why swap the heavens for a carpentry shop? One answered, love explains why he came. Love explains how he endured. His hometown kicked him out. A so-called friend turned him in. Huskers call God a hypocrite. Sinners call God guilty. Do termites mock an eagle? Tapeworms decry the beauty of a swan? How did Jesus endure such derision? For God so loved. Observed how Christ loved us. He didn't love in order to get something from us, but to give everything of himself to us. Your goodness can't win God's love, nor can your badness lose it, but you can resist it. We tend to do so honestly, having been Plutoed so often. We fear God may Pluto us as well. Rejections have left us skittish and jumpy like my dog Salty. He sleeps next to me on the couch as I write. He's a cranky cuss, but I like him. We're aged together over the last 15 years, and he seems worse for wear. He's a wiry canine by nature. Shave his salt and pepper mop, and he'd pass for a bulimic chihuahua. He didn't have much to start with. Now the seasons have taken his energy, teeth, hearing, and all but 18 inches worth of eyesight. Toss him a dog treat, and he just stares at the floor through cloudy cataracts, or in his case, dogaracts. He's nervous and edgy, quick to growl, and slow to trust. As I reach out to pet him, he yanks back. Still, I pet the old coot. I know he can't see, and I can only wonder how dark his world has become. We are a lot like Salty. I have a feeling that most people who defy and deny God do so more out of fear than conviction. For all our chest pumping and braggadocky, we are anxious folks. Can't see a step into the future. Can't hear the one who owns us. No wonder why we try to gum the hand that feeds us. But God reaches and touches. He speaks through the immensity of the Russian plan, the destiny of Amazon rainforest, through a physician's touch in Africa, a bowl of rice in India, through a Japanese bow, or a South American abraco. He's even been known to touch people through paragraphs like the ones you're reading. If he is touching you, let him. Mark it down. God loves you with an unearthly love. You can't win it by being winsome. You can't lose it by being a loser. But you can be blind enough to resist it. Don't, for heaven's sake, don't, for your sake, don't take in with all Christians the extravagant dimensions of Christ's love. Reach out and experience the breadth. Test its length, plump the depths, rise to the heights, live full lives, full in the fulfillments of God. Others demote you in the fulfillments of God, others demote you. God claims you. Let the definitive voice of the universe say you're still part of the plan. Tomorrow we'll read chapter 5, the only one. Ooh, it is cold out here. Okay, here Gracie, you put this in the box, please. We're on chapter 5. We'll read the next one later. Put that case in there. Put that away. It's time to go get warm. Baby. Okay, let's see. And then we're going to go over and see the hockey guys again. Woo-hoo. It's cold. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I know where it goes. Alrighty. So, alright, how we doing here?